let's get ready to hop into it, shall we? We're back into it, I guess, as it were. So we were just about to head into vaults. We'd gone both of our runes here. Pretty solid spell selection overall. You know, we have Starburst for a little bit of AoE, and then our single target is definitely handled by Orb of Destruction. Of course, IMB and Full Moon Prism still bringing in the rear here. Even though they come from our starting handbook, they're basically guaranteed to have some middling use throughout the rest of the run. And I think we're pretty much set for vaults. We're a little over-invested on the willpower front, so I'll probably swap out the willpower ring for protection from cold, just so we don't get completely blindsided by a frost heart the moment we go in. So we shall see if that does end up being the right call. Of course, if we do see a Vault Sentinel, just blanking on the name for a bit there, we will double check their odds of marking us, because that's something we would like to avoid if at all possible. But I guess here goes nothing. Oh, hello, quite the welcoming party. And I guess IMB might just be our best bet. It doesn't keep the one ugly thing off of us just because they're kind of jammed into a corner, but that is fine. And, oh, you know, I just put down the Fulminant Prism and then immediately regretted it because I don't necessarily want to make that much noise. I guess we're a little late to be living our regrets now, or to be sharing them, but not the end of the world. And we shall just see if we can't thread the needle here a little bit with a couple of Orbs of Destruction, and we shall see how it goes. Fantastic. It's definitely going to be our saving grace for the current section of the run. Just try to take out most of the enemies before they get too much of a chance to ruin our day. There's the frost heart we were worried about, but fortunately we're currently not sitting next to any walls. And that's fantastic. We do not have any electricity resistance. No, we do not. We could swap over to one of our staves here. We lose the cold resistance to gain electricity. Doesn't seem like too bad of a trade here, and in fact we'll probably do so before this son of a gun starts hitting us for too much. And there we go. We've at least made our entrance, and oh boy, is it a bit of a messy one. Gonna take hours to clean up this setup here, but that's fine. Something else we should do is we're training up shields, trying to get to the point where we can safely use the Kite Shield of Reflection that we've been carrying around. Also just wanted to double check our spell casting. Going to 20 might be a little overkill for the time being, but I guess let's not worry too much about it. Or at the very least, we can just put it onto minor focus, and then shields will hopefully come up pretty quick. Let's head upstairs. 3% is our current worst failure rate. If we swap over to the Kite Shield, it goes up to 10%. So it's still a little bit higher than I would like. The reflection would be really nice for further encounters with those Yaktar Sons of Guns. So it's tempting to try and make it work, but I do want my Orbs of Destruction available. Oh, right, and we had said that we wanted to take a look at you. 18% chance to mark us is still a little bit more than I would like, but it's not untenable by any stretch of the imagination, so I guess with that, without further ado, let's just start our rampage out here, shall we? Would like to push this son of a gun into the explosion here, if at all possible. Fantastic. Oof. Never mind, not quite getting as much of a whammy there as I was originally hoping. But at least at this point, we're no longer quite so concerned about making noise, because I'm assuming the majority of the level, at least in this general vicinity, has already become well aware of our presence. And so, well, let's actually pop in here. I just wanted to make sure the Boulder Beetle didn't wheel and deal their way outside of the explosion radius of our prism. And otherwise, that is just fine. Do want to try and sneak one of these orbs past you to get to the Sentinel. Unfortunately, not quite cutting it for the moment here. And there is the Sentinel's mark. Again, 18% seems like it's pretty much a gimme to not be a concern for us, but if this game has taught us nothing else, it's always be prepared for the 10% failure to ruin your day. Again, that's kind of partially why we decided that it was not worth our endeavor to, or not worth our time to switch over to the Kite Shield quite yet, because that 10% failure rate on Orb of Destruction could very easily make a change for the worse here. And okay, I have to at least, I guess, take care of the Warden so that we can escape if need be, and generally is a safe bet that is a potential use case for us here, just because we're not doing so great defensively against the Yaktar herds here. They do travel in herds. Is there any change I want to make now? I guess we can probably just keep bashing ourselves headfirst into this brick wall, because nothing's been too difficult for the time being as we get into a little bit of a maze of doors. And a bunch of dire elephants is kind of our ideal enemy type right now, or the ideal archetype that we can come up against, just because IMB can be oh so effective. I guess might as well try to poison you up a little bit, just for funsies. A little bit more effective than a lot of our other options, except I guess probably Orb of Destruction would have just gotten the job done, first and foremost. But let's not worry about it too much. More gargoyles. Need to get over our PTSD from losing our demon spawn to one of these sons of guns, of course. Okay, and here's probably where we want to start at least thinking about our lives here. We have no resistance to electricity, and we do have this Thunder Hulk eyeing us from afar. We have 3 scrolls of blink that can get us out of here if push comes to shove. I'd like to not have to use that. In fact, I probably should have been using Bile Clutch a little more predominantly throughout this encounter. I guess we could swap over. Currently no cold enemies. It's weird, we'd be made to immediately regret that. Frostheart come into view or something along those lines, but fortunately it does not seem to be the case at the moment here. You know what? Starburst doesn't actually seem like too bad of an option. Ooh-wee. So we take a nasty hit there. Let's see, do you have anything that can hit us at this range? You are hasted, so this range, I guess, doesn't mean too much. Oh, Bolt of Cold. What jolly fun. We do have 8 Scrolls of Fear. I actually maybe should have used one of those, not at this stage in that encounter, but slightly before we got whammied down to 40 health. I mean, we could start with the heal wounds. I was actually kind of hoping we'd get a few more of our new friends into death range here. Okay, perfect. There we go. We've gone rid of our ranged spellcasters, and then the rest of these sons of guns can just follow us on a lovely little jaunt back to our stairwell. And I guess we might as well make a little bit of a stand here. A minor effort to hold our ground. Does seem to work out for the moment here. And so that is fantastic. Oof, I guess potentially we could make a slight alteration here. Specifically, I'm thinking, do we want to switch back to that willpower ring since we're seemingly going to be marked? As much as we may try our best to avoid such eventualities, or at least have some kind of false belief that that is the case due to our 3 pips willpower. Fortunately, the game has definitely proven time and time again that it has something else in mind for us here. Beautiful. Makhleb's healing, of course, coming in clutch this entire encounter so far. But we'll swap back over to our falchion first and foremost. And, oof. So we just have to be careful of the, or is it called an arcanist? What's your name, sir? Yes, arcanists and frosthearts are the 2 kind of big issue points for our cold resistance here, so we'll just have to remember, 5th of November, and also that we need to be slightly cautious and cognizant of those enemies showing up. Oops. So we switch out the wrong ring. Yikes. But can definitely just start blasting these sons of guns. We're currently in a pretty rough spot from a Frostheart perspective here. And let's see, I at least hit one of you. Is that good enough? I mean, that hits a large chunk of you, so that's definitely good enough to just reach out and grab you. And then we'll start putting down some prisms here. And I guess we'll probably just try to kill these sons of guns quickly enough that it is not a concern that we're next to a few more walls than I would like. Fantastic. Look at that. We're even remembering to use all of our spells. Because Vile Clutch, even though I love it so much and it's such a powerful spell, it for whatever reason is generally one of the first to vacate my brain past a certain stage in the game. And I guess that's that. Done exploring already. There is this little chamber off to the side. Interesting, and we actually need to use digging to get to it if we so desire. We do have 16 charges on our Wand of Digging, likely to be more than I'll ever end up actually using. At least, you know, if history has anything to say about it. So worth it for a single scroll of fog? At least that's all that's visible. Sure, let's see what else we can potentially find down over yonder here. There's always the chance that it's the lifesaver of the run and we find something truly life-changing. Okay, we have distortion weapon on that warlord. That's fine. We make a little bit of noise, may wait around for a while here for our friends to catch up. And fantastic. At least not taking an unscheduled trip to the Abyss quite yet. No promises, of course, could always be in the cards for us. Still have a ways to go. But nothing to worry about quite at this exact moment in time. So that is wonderful. And we'll blast you kiddos into our lovely prism there. Ooh, even getting another attribute level. And we get Spellforged Servitor as our next given here. Okie dokie. Have I set up my extended macros? I have not. So I'd like you, I think usually I put that to capital M. And you know, while I'm here, yes, might as well get the N as well. But let's get Spellforged Servitor at 2% failure rate. That's not too shabby here. And so where we start our constant refrain of, buddy, please do not hurt me by accident, but should be all right, all things considered. And now we'll have just a silly number of Orbs of Destruction at our disposal. And do love to see it. Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Quite the welcoming party. This was actually a much greater section of the level than I was originally expecting. Oh, I guess you're also someone we should check. Oh, never mind, you're the necromancer. Artificer, is that what the wizards got renamed to? Just want to make sure that we're not at all in danger of getting banished here. This is something that I want to keep just in the back of our minds as we continue to make our way forward to honor and glory and unleash just an absurd barrage of destruction orbs. Oh gosh, the big issue here that we're facing now is that we're very quickly running out of any excuses to lose this run. The Spellforge Servitor, with Orb Destruction being a fantastic option for them to be using, is extremely powerful. So can't exactly complain about that. Ooh, yikes. Hello, my friends. Guess we'll just be blasting. So anyway, just started and all that good stuff. And I don't really have any great options besides IMB, and that will of course hit our friend, but I feel like it might just be worth it a lot of the times to give ourselves a little bit of breathing room, that extra small bit of safety. Always important, of course. And I guess it's off into the main part of the level, a talisman of death, you say. Okie dokie. Orbs galore. And trying to think of what point we should start being especially cautious. I mean, I definitely don't want more friends being phoned in, and I'm being just slightly more careful than I otherwise might be in order to account for our centaur friend here. Please, Orb Destruction. Beautiful. And by and large, that should do the trick. I should probably join my friend in sending the volleys here. Oof. Do I have any instant things? Because Orb Destruction is going to take a little bit longer than I'd like. I guess we could try and reach out and grab you. Beautiful. It does indeed do the trick. And as long as we're not getting too many enemies that can hit us from afar, we actually should be in an alright spot. Fortunately, these Bogarts are not taking it easy on us. Oof, by any stretch of the imagination. Hello, friend. Oh, and you use a crossbow? That is not ideal. Ooh, and it also took a few more orbs than I was originally expecting, so that could have gone horribly wrong. Or at the very least, much worse than it did. Fortunately, not too much of an issue here at the moment. Okie dokie. So who's waiting for us down here? Just a single Bogart, I believe? And they do go down pretty dang quickly to something unavoidable. Ooh, a ghoul. Gad egast a ghoul. I'm assuming that we're looking at our crypt entrance here, if I had to guess. And we'll let our friend attempt to do most of the heavy lifting. We were actually at a bad angle there where the Vault Warden had the open line of fire to us, but our return fire was blocked by our Spellforged friend. But fortunately, didn't end up to be the be-all end-all, not the end of the world. And I do love just the sheer volume of destruction that we can levy here with the help of that Spellforged buddy of ours. That is beautiful. Trying to think now a little bit ahead to probably Slime as our third rune here. I'd very much like to at least take a peek and see what that new ending, or one of those new endings, may look like here. don't have great AoE. Starburst is at least an okay backup option as long as there aren't too many fire resistant or even fire immune slimes coming our way. But I guess we don't have too much recourse at this moment in time. And fortunately, with the centaurs there, even though they're faster than us, we can do a little bit of stepping away while we let our buddy take care of them, so that is perfect. And let's do a wee bit of a check-in here, shall we? Because now we're down to 1% failure rate on both of our level 7 spells, so if we swap up to the fancier shield. 5%? That's probably actually not too bad, especially since Spellforge Servitor, again, kind of falls very much in line with a lot of the now antiquated transmutation spells from the older versions, where because it sticks around for a little bit, it by definition doesn't need to be that critically successful all the time, and so 5% is probably more than enough wiggle room and leeway there for us to be just fine and dandy. Don't know if our Convoker pal actually caught a glance of us there. It would be nice if they came our direction instead of expecting little me to come all the way there. But I guess let's just restart our now quickly becoming usual strategy of letting our Spellforge Servitor handle all of our problems for us. It truly is a wonderful life. They are a little more evasive than I'd like, as they unfortunately just let a lot of those arrows slide right on by. But I'm hoping, and so far it's kind of being borne out already, hoping that with our Reflection Kite Shield, have a little bit less to worry about from our bow-wielding friends there. So that's not too shabby at all. Holy moly.